Welcome to Back from the Abyss. I'm Dr. Craig Heacock. We have something really special here today, and I'm so excited to share this with all of you. 3 of the 5 most downloaded episodes of Back from the Abyss have featured either Saj Razvi or Hillary McBride, and both of them join us today to share a totally fascinating session recording of Hillary doing trauma work with Saj. But first, with so much joy, I would like to announce a training that I'm doing with Hillary this spring. We will be leading an experiential intensive workshop on transference and countertransference called I Love You, I Hate You, Are You My Mom? This will take place in Victoria, British Columbia, May 20th to 30th. I'll have a link in the show notes for more information and registration. This will be for mental health clinicians only. There are just 20 spots, so don't dally if you want to come. I think this is going to be a really special gathering. And as an Enneagram 7, I'm already counting down the days. Okay, back to today's story. What you're about to hear is extraordinary. Easily one of the most compelling and fascinating things we've featured on the podcast. An in-depth, in-the-room exploration of the moment-to-moment unfolding of a psychedelic-assisted trauma session. During her training to work with Saj's psychedelic somatic model, called PSIP, Hillary did a profound session with Saj, which led to some very unexpected gifts for her. Interestingly, the psychedelic used for this session was THC. Now, Saj has spoken extensively in past Back from the Abyss episodes why he considers vaped THC to be a particularly potent catalyst for somatic trauma work, to rapidly cut through dissociation and heighten autonomic reactions. First, we'll hear Saj give us some background context and an introduction to the theory of his work. Then we'll hear Hillary enter into a very emotional and often physically grueling session, with both Saj and Hillary weighing in occasionally with commentary about the process. Then finally, we hear them both summarize what happened, how they each understood the meaning and the story. A heads up, Hillary's session gets very intense at times. So if you don't feel ready to hear someone walk the fires of their nearly annihilating trauma, maybe save this episode for another time.
Okay, so let me give you some context about the session that you're about to hear so that you can orient to what's taking place. This is a session that Hillary received from me as part of her PSI psychedelic training program. She's taken 2 or at most 3 puffs from a cannabis vape pen, and the physical and emotional processing that you're going to hear is all coming from her autonomic nervous system, meaning that it's not her willful, voluntary mind that is generating the reactions that she's going to go into. So this might be hard to imagine, so let me help you relate to this experience. So right now I am opening and closing my hand, and that movement is coming from the voluntary motor centers of my brain. However, I want you to imagine walking down the street and you trip. And the fact that your arms quickly shoot out in front of you to break your fall, and that your legs quickly move to rebalance you, that your neck and your head get tight and pull backwards to try and protect your head from the fall, all of these reactions took place in a fraction of a second, and you did not voluntarily do any of it. Right? You did not orchestrate that movement. It wasn't your conscious, deliberative, slow brain that chose how to move. It was your autonomic nervous system that fully stepped in and took over, quickly responding to the threat of, falling and injuring yourself. So this is exactly what we're looking at here, but for much more severe threats. And as you'll hear, these reactions are not nuanced. They can involve lots of intense muscle contractions, panicked breathing, emotional responses, and or even complete blanking and numbing out as part of dissociation. Now, Hillary is allowing these autonomic movements to take place, but she's not orchestrating them. She's not causing the session to go in any particular direction, and neither am I. And what we'll be witnessing here, to my mind, what we're seeing here is a much deeper visceral intelligence that's bottom up, that's biological in nature, that shows up and takes over and orchestrates the healing. The other context that I'll offer to help track what's taking place in this PSIP session is that there are always two layers of memory, or two realities, playing out in the session at any time. There's present moment reality, where there are a few adults sitting in a room, it's a psychedelic therapy training, and there is objective safety here. Then there is a second layer of memory that's made up of stressful or traumatic experiences from the past. These non-declarative memory events are typically not available to your conscious mind because they were so overwhelming that they live in dissociation, or because they took place so early in life that you don't have the ability to remember them. Now, even though you may not have access to these implicit memories, they're still there, your nervous system's still responding to them and creating symptoms. What we're looking to do in the model is to use the psychedelic medicine along with an intentionally pressurizing therapeutic container to evoke these memories and pull them into reassociation. And what this means is that Hillary's nervous system is not responding to present moment reality, but this other layer of implicit memory that we're actively pulling out of dissociation.
Can you help me get started somehow?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All you need to do is bring your focus to body, and we're going to turn on the selective inhibition now. So all the little things that might be coming up that you might want to manage somehow, I'm going to ask you to not engage the management.
When I refer to selective inhibition here, that is the pressurizing container I mentioned earlier. During selective inhibition, we are inhibiting the voluntary coping strategies, the mental distractions, management, avoidance, and even the resourcing strategies that people have to keep themselves regulated. The idea here is that these strategies provide short-term regulation and calming while preventing resolution in the long term. When we are enforcing top-down regulation, we are disabling the nervous system from doing what it organically wants to do in order to resolve trauma. And of course, I'm talking about this just during the trauma processing phase of the psychedelic session, not all the time, and certainly not in between sessions, of course. We want people to be regulated when they're picking their kids up from school. So again, essentially what we're doing with SI is that we're inhibiting the top-down voluntary control we have over our nervous systems to see what happens if you do nothing at all. Just as an experiment, what comes up if you don't do anything to manipulate or manage or push your own nervous system around? What naturally, organically arises by itself? And reliably, the answer is that people go to areas of wounding. They go to the areas of nervous system compromise, just all by itself.
It matters to me that we dissolve the stories that we tell about who is the healer and who has the secret knowledge and who is the person who's gotten past all of their trauma and is self-actualized and enlightened, to show you that all of us are human, that I'm on my own journey of working through stuff and processing my own trauma. And what you'll hear in this episode is that although we started in one direction, we end up going all sorts of places of pain inside of me that I didn't even know were there until we find them in this very session.
It's going to take a few minutes still, Hillary, but just notice your muscles, particularly in your neck.
What I'm doing here is working with the charge and activation I feel in my body, and trusting that it will lead me to a place where perhaps I understand down the road what the story is about. But instead of going in with a story or a list or an idea of where we're heading, we're actually working with what the body is communicating. We're allowing the body to tell us where we need to go next. This is a specific kind of psychedelic therapy called psychedelic somatic interactional therapy. And in this audio clip, I'm actually experiencing it for the second time as part of a training program, where I'm coming into this experience to learn how to do this therapy, but as part of learning how, we actually experience it ourselves first.
What are you noticing?
You can feel my heart racing. There's been like little jittery things in my legs. I'm trying to inhibit.
Okay. So when that happens that quickly,
Yeah.
Is it just like a strong muscle movement that takes over, or is that a drop?
Drop. Like my neck goes limp.
Ah, okay. Let's trust it.
Okay.
Okay. So limp neck, does that mean other body parts, other muscles are also going limp?
No, it just feels like that, but I can feel my tongue. I'm kind of putting pressure on my tongue again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pay attention to my body here for a second.
Mm-hmm. Neck is having a movement towards the right. Find the muscles that are pulling or pushing you over there.
What's happening is we're starting the medicine process as I'm waiting for the sensations and perception to change a little bit as the medicine hits my body and my consciousness. But I'm starting to track the way that my body is communicating about where activation lives. And activation we could think of as this kind of ubiquitous term to define the leftover and artifacts of trauma, that there's a kind of charge there that made sense at the time of an injury or a threat, but perhaps down the road when we're actually safe doesn't quite make sense in the context anymore. So I'm starting to pay attention to the way that my body is communicating through sensation and activation and really the impulse to move, the tightening, heat. There's all sorts of things happening on a bodily level. And I'm just starting to notice how they're turning on as we get into the process together. It's important to note that I don't actually know where we're heading. There isn't a kind of story that I'm following. I don't really actually know where we're going to end up. But what I do know is that if I follow the sensation in my body, that my body knows exactly what to do to resolve the charge that's there as a leftover artifact of the trauma. So I'm trusting that if we stay with the sensation together with Saj's help and my ability to feel into what my body is doing, that it's going to take us somewhere really, really hard. And what's going to be on the other side of that is a piece of healing and integration.
There you go. What's it like over there?
It hurts a lot.
It hurts a lot.
And now it's spinning. The room is spinning. I feel dizzy. I don't want to feel dizzy.
I'm going to have you say that back to me. I'm spinning.
I'm spinning.
Just really notice spinning, sweetie. Yeah, there's something really awful about it, huh?
I don't know if it's going to stop.
This is really bad.
At this moment, what's starting to become clear to me is that I'm not just remembering an experience of trauma, but I'm actually back in it. It feels like I'm re-experiencing it. What I think it's taking me back to is when I was hit head on by a truck and my car started spinning around and around and around uncontrollably until it ended up smashing into a series of cars parked on the side of the road. And in that moment, it feels like I'm back in the car and everything is happening in the way that time somehow speeds up and slows down all at once in a trauma. I'm feeling every single detail of what it was like to be back in that car watching myself spin and spin and spin and not know what's going to happen next.
My body's moving again.
Yeah.
And I feel scared.
Does it feel like you're out of control?
Yeah. But in a way, like, I can't get away from it.
That's right. You can't
It's
get...
slow enough. I can feel it and see it all.
You're doing great. Stay right there with it. It's slow and you're seeing it all. And you can't get away from it.
This is an example of what we would call the nightmare. Look at how detailed it is, how much access Hillary has to it. Look at how alive it is in her system. It's a past reality that's just living in her, creating symptoms. We're seeing Hillary's version of it, but we all have our own that we're walking around with, and we've managed to build an entire life on top of it. We are seeing it so clearly because she's taken cannabis and she's in selective inhibition. So she's not taking deep breaths to calm it down. She's not escaping into her mind. She's not going to the beach in her head or distracting herself from what this feels like, even though it's very difficult. When we inhibit all of the management, Hillary's own nervous system organically resurrects the nightmare and moves it from a hidden, managed, compartmentalized, dissociated state into reassociation. And let me clarify something. Her system is taking her into the nightmare. I'm not doing this. I'm just holding the container. If she went to a beautiful place when we stopped the management, I'd say, great, I'll follow you there. But that's not what tends to happen. As soon as a system is given a chance, it always goes to the area of compromise. Once the memory is reassociated to, once you can see it, smell it, taste it, and feel it, your nervous system can finally process it. You can't work with what you can't see and feel, meaning that if something lives in dissociation, you can't do anything with it. This is why we want to maintain as much fidelity with the nightmare as possible. We want to attune to it and have it emerge exactly as it lives in the client's subjective system, with all of its distortions of reality, with its self-hatred, with all the panic and overwhelm and untruths that are a part of it. And of course, it's scary and destabilizing when this emerges, but it's fundamentally you. This is your nightmare. This is your life. So we're not turning our back on it.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Feel it. Feel it.
But I feel okay because I know it ends.
Yeah.
It feels so good to know it will end.
Yeah, so go
I'll
ahead.
live through it.
So,
I didn't know it.
you didn't know it. Yeah, look how uncertain that was for you. What's here?
It still feels slow, but just more in the room here. I just heard Bonnie, I heard your paper, and it felt so nice to know you were here too.
Yeah, I'm right here. Now, sweetie, if that side is here, let's head into it. If you want to do an experiment with us, you could just say, I'm alone.
I just noticed lots in my legs when you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah.
This is a really difficult moment to be back in. It's actually quite difficult for me to listen to and remember the re-experiencing even of this journey. And I think it would make sense for anybody listening to this audio to ask the question, why aren't you just getting out of this? Why aren't you shutting it down? Why aren't you getting away? And what I know to be true about this particular kind of work is that it's actually when we go through these experiences and we integrate them instead of fragmenting off and dissociating, that our body's natural healing capacity starts to emerge, that our autonomic nervous system's way of helping us through to the other side, that this process that's wired into every single one of us from birth, that's going to engage as I stay with what it felt like and I stay connected to Saj. It's not just remembering an awful thing that's happening here. It's also remembering an awful thing in the context of being witnessed and talking it through and feeling really deeply accompanied and attuned to in the experience. When we think about the defining features of trauma, what we know is that for sure the experience is overwhelming, but often it's characterized by I'm alone, I have no capacity or connection to my resources or to the people around me, and this is intolerable. And what we're doing here that's different is I'm getting to feel all the details of the trauma, but it's slow enough that I can tell someone about it, and it's connected enough that I really have the sense in that moment that I am not alone with this. And what that does is it's allowing me to actually go into it a little bit deeper. I think, of course, one of the benefits of having the psychedelic in my system as well is that it just kind of makes it impossible to ignore. It's much, much harder in those moments to eject out and to start planning my grocery list for the week or something. So it creates this specific container wherein I can be focused and I can feel, and the feelings associated with it rise right to the surface in a way that makes it impossible to ignore them. But embedded in that is this really profound trust that I have in this way of working and in my body and in connection in general that reminds me if I keep going through this and I'm not alone and I feel every bit of it, there is going to be more of me on the other side. And all of these things that have been stuck in my body for so long aren't going to be stuck there anymore. They're going to be resolved and metabolized, and somehow will be less sticky, less loud, less likely to take me over in surprising moments, because I really deeply know that they're over.
What did you see?
I didn't see.
How could you not see? It was so big. It feels like you chose to look away.
Just notice what that feels like when I look away.
And I was so afraid. I was so afraid that if I let you see how angry I was, that he would leave even more. And so I put it all inside of me.
Feel it all inside of you.
I put it all inside of me. I put everything inside of me.
Notice body. Notice what it's like to have it all inside of you. There you go. There you go. All body, sweetie.
It's so tight and hot.
So tight and hot.
I can feel it now a little bit, just listening to the audio. There's like heat, there's shaking, there's incredibly excruciating muscle tension and tightness. And I think that some of my muscles were actually starting to cramp. And when that was happening, I just remember feeling like it was searing and my muscles were going to explode. Like the amount of pressure that I was feeling inside my body was going to break me apart. The interesting thing about the memories of the car accident is that I have all this leftover trauma residue, the flashbacks and nightmares. I was having anxiety getting in the car, but often when I would remember the accident, it would kind of feel like my body was blank, like there wasn't any feeling. And maybe a few minutes later or a little while later, I'd start to feel cold and a little shaky, almost as if my body was kind of catching up to what I couldn't feel when I was thinking about it or telling the story. But I don't actually remember if that's what it felt like in the moment of the accident, because I think that the process of dissociation was already online, that the really acute opiate dump that happens when we're overwhelmed, just instinctively our bodies just shut down feeling. I think that was already happening at the time of the accident. And so it's really interesting to listen back to this audio because I'm kind of piecing it together differently than I would have been able to at that time. And I don't think that this intensity is actually about the accident anymore. I think what's happened is we've shifted into another place of profound and overwhelming pain for me, which was right at the time when my eating disorder really started to develop. And it seems like somehow my consciousness is kind of slippery. I was talking about the car accident, and then it morphs into the way that I felt like I couldn't be with pain and people, the way that I wasn't seen. And I think that there are elements of that related to the accident, but I think that what's happened here is that I'm now speaking up on behalf of my adolescent self, and I'm now connecting to how much pain I was in before I started to really hurt my body.
I didn't prepare you for this. I didn't help you with this.
You didn't know how either. And I can see how I'm learning. And you didn't do that for me. I did that. It's mine.
Yeah.
I'm learning all by myself. All my hard work.
Yeah, you had to find your own way. Yeah. If you want to try an experiment, see what happens if you begin to inhibit that right arm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's such a normal thing for these experiences that are overwhelming and can feel terrifying, obliterating, to be relational as well. And our body stores things based on how they feel. Yeah, and also, our mind likes to store things based on the story and the timestamp and the way that we make sense of themes and meaning, but our bodies are often storing things based on the quality and the intensity of the emotion. And so I think that part of what I was jumping from, even the story and the time scale is different. I think that searing feeling of I'm out of control and this is an unsurvivable amount of pain probably felt the same inside of me in the moment of the car accident and around the time that my eating disorder developed.
It's really hot, like it's on fire.
Arms on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
Let's watch it be on fire.
My foot is cramping so much.
Yeah. Trust it. Sweetie, this hurts so much. It just did.
The only way is to hurt myself to get away. It's so awful. I'm so angry.
Yeah. Hold that arm if you can. There you go. See what it's doing to you.
Ah!
See what it's doing to you. There you go. Feel that rage.
So tight, everything's
So tight, yeah. Let the muscles take you, just giving into the muscles now.
Just giving it.
Yeah. Let the muscles take you. Did they relax on them by themselves?
I chose to relax.
Okay. That's not what I meant by giving in.
I know,
Okay.
I wanted it felt so good for a second. I can get my right arm back online here.
I didn't realize how much I dissociated, how much dissociation was a part of my way of coping in the world until I started doing this specific kind of work. And I think what's happening here is that I'm reassociating to the pain that was underneath that dissociation. If dissociation is like an invisibility cloak that our unconscious throws over top of the things that we don't think we can survive, that that what's happening is that invisibility cloak is being ripped off, and I'm actually seeing and feeling in such a present way what it was like to be me in some of the most awful moments of my life. I'm reintegrating these fragmented pieces of memory and sensation and experience, and they're coming into this moment where it's right on the edge of what's tolerable. It's right on that edge, but it's also this incredible sense of getting access to just how much feeling had to go away inside of me. I imagine it's kind of what it would be like to be born, in a way, if we could remember those experiences of feeling like there is something terrifyingly beautiful about the emergent self, about my body coming back online after, in some cases, years of not feeling. And it's like, maybe another way of describing it is like coming in from the cold, and sometimes you put your cold hands under warm water, and even though ultimately that warm water is good and it's going to help your hands warm up, it stings. It's kind of like there's a thawing process that's happening as I'm not numbing in this moment. It's impossible for me to numb in this moment. I'm getting something back of myself, and it's awful and beautiful all at once.
If body gets tight, great. If it calms or goes limp, that's completely fine.
Okay.
We're going to let it lead. What's it doing to you?
I feel like I'm somehow wrestling with myself.
Yeah, let's watch this struggle. Let's watch you wrestle.
I don't want to have to. I want someone to help me.
Yeah, see what you're fighting. Yeah, lots of energy.
My arm's getting so tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I don't want to do it anymore.
Let's see where you go once the tiredness happens. Does this feel futile at all? Is that a word that's here?
No.
What's it feel like?
I'm more like stuck.
Stuck.
Well, what do I do with that? I don't want to fight with myself.
Sweetie, I think you were stuck in this for a long time. We're here and seeing you in this stuck place with no answers.
This might be a good time to check in with yourself and see what being connected to Hillary's nervous system is doing to you. Hillary's system is manifesting a core sense of powerlessness or stuckness that was present in her life. And you might be finding yourself uncomfortable right now. You might be feeling empathy for Hillary. You might be having a very human impulse to rescue her. You might even be feeling upset towards me for doing this to her. And I want to normalize all of that. We are social animals. We are empathetic, and another person's suffering should and does affect us. But let's look at what's actually taking place in the session. So take a look and see what I'm actually doing here. Am I directing her to painful memories? Am I asking her to get angry or clench her jaw or feel a certain way? And the answer is no. all we're doing is holding a directive container that interrupts a lifetime of management and top-down nervous system suppression. Almost immediately, we see the entire nightmare come to the surface, and that's the case pretty much with everyone. And if we were to rescue Hillary in this moment, what would we rescue her from? Her feelings? From something that was absolutely true in her life and which her system is naturally evoking? This is not bad wiring. This is not a mistake of our evolution that our systems do this. Most people hate their own nightmare, but when they finally contact it, they intuitively know that it belongs to them. You will intuitively sense that your life energy is wrapped up in it, and it's got your fingerprints all over it. So it's not something to push away. It's not something to run away from. It's something to embrace with as much detail as you possibly can. And when you do that, it begins to move. It begins to shift.
Head going further down. Crunching you over more.
Oh, I really feel angry again. Angry.
Yeah, stay with it. Does it feel like it's connected to your back?
Back and leg.
Back and leg. Stay with it. Stay with back even as anger comes up. Notice if it's either getting hotter or tighter.
Yeah, more painful.
More painful. You've got so much energy in you around this, so much fight. Stay with the back. See what they're doing.
Oh, God.
Neck and head?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, focus right there.
Oh.
See what's in there. There you go. There you go. There it is. Stay right with it. Right here, sweetie. Right here with you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
stay
you for
right
saying
there.
that. Okay. That felt different than giving up. That felt like something ended.
Something ended.
I feel like it finished.
Yeah. I know that was so painful, and you stayed with it.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could ask, but when you said it, it felt so good.
Good. I'm glad.
So Hillary just completed a wave here, and that's what it tends to look like as a stuck memory or the nightmare moves through the nervous system channel. It starts in dissociation, it moves to hopelessness and depression, and then anxiety and panic, and finally a state of associated calm. The symptoms are moving through a wave of activation. They peak in intensity, and then there's an organic resolution on the other side of it. And this is all involuntary nervous system processing. You can't voluntarily make your nervous system do this any more than you can voluntarily fall asleep. You can set the conditions for sleep to happen, and that's exactly what we're doing here for trauma. We're setting the conditions. So a couple of other things to know about it. There may or may not be any story. There may or may not be any aha, big insight moments that your cognitive channel has to this. As I mentioned earlier, this only really turns on when we stop trying to regulate the client. We do not adhere to the window of tolerance idea. What we're doing instead is adding attunement and relationship to the nightmare. We are deeply in relationship with it. And this is key because relationship is the single most potent solution human beings have to the threats that we've encountered in our lives. When we add a competent, attuned, secure relationship to this alienated nightmare place, that's when we see the biology responding. That's when we see that movement and resolution takes place.
Enjoy this part of your body that feels like it completed something and is on the other side.
What if there's more?
Probably is.
What if it didn't finish?
It seems like it did. Even if there's more, it seems like it did finish to me.
I don't want to look away from anything anymore.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You've built a life that is such a welcome place for all of these leftover bits to come home to. You built a life that's so different than the vast emptiness.
Yeah.
Your child is not going to be dealing with this.
That feels like it's so important for me. I don't want her to hurt. I don't want anyone to hurt and to feel this.
And they won't. You're feeling it, so they don't have to.
Like when I remember that, it helps me feel it more.
Yeah, you're doing it for them and then their children.
Oh.
Whew, I feel so tender hearing that. Because it makes me think about the potency of doing our own healing work and how I know that when I process through the places of pain inside of myself, that I don't have to hand my ways of coping with that pain onto my daughter or the people around me or my children or my children's children or future generations. It's almost like there's this sense in this moment of knowing that when I face what's inside of me, that somehow I get more of myself back in a way that also allows me to give more of myself to the people around me. And I'm sort of breaking some link, some family link, some generational link of not knowing how to face and feel pain. And what I want in my life is to feel like I don't have to run from and avoid human experiences, and I can face them and feel them and live through them and survive them and find beauty in them. And I know that when I do that I can help my daughter do that too. And I know that when I do that, I can stay with the discomfort inside of me that I'm sure will come up when she's experiencing suffering. And instead of having to make her feelings go away just because I don't know how to be with my own, I'll be able to stay with her and know that she and I together will get through whatever it is that happens. Because I have the memory in my body of getting through this.
Yeah, see what's here if you're open to it. Is that your back?
It's like my leg is, everything's crunching, I think.
Do you feel okay opening the door to this, or would you like a little bit more of a...
Oh no, I feel
okay.
Somehow it feels like it's easier now that I've done it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's scary to open it.
That's right. You know your body can find its way. Yeah.
And I know we're here.
And we're here.
We're here. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that they would help. I didn't know if I could ask.
Yeah, stay with all that unknowing, all that uncertainty.
I think that these places inside of me live inside of so many of us. Places where we feel scared and we don't know that we can ask for help, even though we have the story somewhere in our adult brain that would be okay. We have little parts inside of us that have this deeply embedded story that they have to do it alone. Or these pockets of fear that surprise us out of nowhere, or places of numbness and avoidance that are hard to even notice because they fly under the radar. I think it's so human. In fact, I think it's one of the defining features of being human to have experiences of pain and to meet at some point our ways of coping with that. And my hope in sharing this is that we dissolve the idea that at some point, if you have enough education, if you have enough training, if you have enough credentials, that you should be done the work of turning towards yourself, that you should be done the work of asking for help. I want people to know in hearing this audio that even if you have a PhD in psychology and are a trauma specialist, that it's still okay to need people and to ask for help and to keep looking for those places inside of you where there is fear and aloneness and old stories that don't serve you anymore.
Let it play out. Let it play out.
It just occurred to me I could ask you all for help, but I don't know what I can even ask for. But I do know I can ask, and that feels really good.
Yeah. How nice is that? And let's see what body does with that. Now that you know you can ask.
I'm so angry I didn't know.
Right there, right there. Yeah, let it completely take you. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Listening to this audio, I'm both remembering what it was like to be in it, and I'm hearing myself as if I'm a different person, and all I want to do is say, like, you get it, baby girl, you get it. Like, I'm hearing the way that not that long ago, I was learning, like in real time, like half an hour before that, I was actually for the first time in this place of overwhelming terror and aloneness and grief, learning that I could let someone into it. It's like it's happening right in front of me in that moment. And then half an hour later, I ask, can you help me? And you can hear in my voice, it's tentative and fragile and vulnerable. But it's like that thing that got internalized not that long ago is really there. I'm starting to use it. I'm practicing it. I'm reaching for it. I'm reaching for him. All of that work that we did it's there, it's landing inside of me, and it's showing up. Not long after it shows up it's showing up. It's showing up, and it feels trustworthy. It feels like I'm actually making use of the thing I just learned. I think what's so important to say about this too is I'm smart. And I know that asking for help is something that's good to do in moments of distress. So if you're asking adult me if I know how to ask for help, I will tell you I have no problem with that whatsoever. I do it all the time. I do it hundreds of times a day, and even more so now that I'm a parent and I have all these balls that I'm juggling. I feel like my adult self has no question about if that's a possibility. So what's so important about this is even with a person as resourced and smart and confident and capable as me, there is still inside of me this really, really scared version who didn't know that was a possibility. And I think that's such an important part of this audio, is because I think we can make assumptions that just because we are competent or know a lot of things, that we don't have places inside there where there's still these really old patterns of trying to do it on our own, or, insert the pattern here, whatever it is. And this is such a good example of the way that psychedelics really bypass these robust identities we have as adults that convince us that we've got it all together, or that we're okay, or even convince us that we're broken and we don't have it together. Like, we can really use this technology as a way to get into the places inside of us that live underneath our conscious awareness, and really those places hold so much power in terms of what dictates our relational patterns and how we feel about ourselves. So being able to access them in this way just opens up all this new potential for us to feel even more connected to the present moment, to our healing potential, to our ability to connect and bring people in, and for our bodies really to release all of this charge, all of these artifacts of trauma that we're carrying around that we don't even know we're carrying around.
Yeah, I think you have an intuition about that arm and hand. Lots of pushing?
Can you help me?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm seeing what's happening. Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, you're trusting your body.
Okay.
And your body's guiding what needs to happen and what you need to see and feel. So you're doing great. Even in the heartbreaking pieces, you're doing great. Just notice what relaxes by itself, and then maybe something else will turn on. So I'm noticing your left leg.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's new.
It feels like I've been feeling it for a little while, but it feels like I'm boiling. But not in like I'm dying, just like, oh, I'm sweaty.
You're sweaty, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. How's your back? That was a big
Feels
thing.
looser in my shoulder.
Yeah. Thank you for asking for help. I really heard you say that.
I can
Yeah.
ask.
What I'm seeing,
Yeah.
Hillary, is that your body is showing you how bad it was.
Yeah.
It's showing you how infuriating, angry, hopeless, alone you were. And you're coming through to the other side of all of that. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering about one little piece here that since that right leg, there's so much in there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about a little contact between my hand and the bottom of your foot.
Okay.
Yeah, is that a good experiment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go very slow and very light with it.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that feels really good.
See what that feels like.
Such an intense cramp.
Stay with it. Stay with the cramp.
Oh.
So much pain.
Oh.
Right here. Right here.
It's still there on my foot, but it's softening. Can you keep pressure on my foot as I move it up?
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like I did it.
Yeah, you did.
Are you shaking a paw?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you did it.
Hearing it feels so warm in me. I just feel like I'm brought right back into that moment too, of feeling profound gratitude for my body, for showing me that it knew exactly how to get through that, and Saj for being with me and the people in my life. I just feel so grateful to have done that piece of work in that way. It really changed something for me. This particular session, I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Wow.
You went through some hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels over. Something feels over. Yeah. I just kept having flashes of people in my life who are here now. Like, just very, like, it's so beautiful. Such beautiful people in my life. They love me so much. I don't have to do it without them. Whatever it is, it feels so good to say. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you for being with me. It was so lovely to have you here.
I really love how this session played out for Hillary and her outcome of becoming a baby deer by the end of it. So I think I'll wrap up just by saying that, we clearly see here for Hillary as well as for all of us that we have an implicit reality that operates underneath the conscious mind. And this is where we store all of our early learning, our programming about who we are, who other people are, what the world is like, and of course our traumatic experiences and learning. And one of the real gifts of psychedelic medicines, and again, let me remind you that in this case, this was just 2 puffs of cannabis, but one of the real gifts of these medicines is that they give us such detailed, thorough, felt sense access to this implicit world that we all carry around with ourselves. And I can almost guarantee that, the first time you take this deep dive, the first time most people take this deep dive, they will encounter bad news. They're going to encounter the areas of their nervous system compromised from stress and trauma. They're going to encounter the distortions of, who they came to know themselves to be based on the parenting that they got. And you're not making this contact with this implicit reality from a removed place of insight or understanding or mind. It's a very direct experience kind of regression into that reality. Now, the really good news here is that everything is fluid in that space. You, your identity, your nervous system, your emotional states are much more of a shifting, moving process and much less of a stable noun. I've seen something as unmovable and as solid as depression is in ordinary consciousness become much more of a fluid process in that state. And I think this is what Buddhism is ultimately trying to get people to see, that underneath this mind overlay of stability, you and the world are fundamentally an alive, ever-changing process. Again, I think this is good news for us, right? That given the right container, given the right initial conditions, the process leads towards well-being, towards wholeness, coherence, a greater appreciation for life, a greater empathy with life, and also, I would say, a very bottom-up type of moral engagement in the world. And the thing is, I see this all the time. I think this is just who we are. And I find it really redeeming. I find it redeeming to see that this happens over and over again when people touch the ground that's underneath their conscious minds, that the signal shows up and guides them into sort of a deeper relationship, a deeper intimacy with all things.
Here's the thing to know about dissociation. It is so sneaky that most of the time it's happening, we don't even know it's happening. That's the whole purpose, is it blanks itself out. It disconnects us even from the awareness that we're disconnected. So what happened after this session, I got in my car at the very end of the day to drive, and I remember sitting in the driver's seat and feeling my hips in the seat. And then I remember putting my feet, one on the clutch, one on the gas, and feeling my feet. And this might sound completely bizarre and like it doesn't make any sense if you're used to feeling your body in the car. But what clicked in the moment, it wasn't even the moment of the trauma processing, it was after, at the very end of the day as I got in my car, I realized that I hadn't felt the lower half of my body while driving a car in over 13 years. That the first car accident that I'd ever been in that was life-threatening and overwhelmed me and resulted in me having trauma in my body, I think that was actually the first moment that I dissociated in the car, and to get back into a car and to drive all the time and to survive living in a world where I get into a car and have to face the reality of potential life-ending experiences all the time. I think that I had to blank out how much fear was in my body. And I think I had to blank out the memories of all of that happening. And I couldn't have told you that was happening. And that I really want to accentuate that as by saying that I'm somebody who studies and practices and is an expert in the area of trauma and dissociation. Like, knowing everything that I know about this couldn't help me know how disconnected I was from my body. And I got in the car at that end of the day and I felt myself fully in my body while I was in the car. And I hadn't even pulled out of the driveway. I hadn't even started driving. I just sat there and wept, and I felt my feet hitting the pedals, my heel rubbing into the floor, wiggling my thighs on the seat, like somehow I was back and I didn't even know I was gone. And I will never for the rest of my life forget the moment of feeling like I got the lower half of my body back. The surprises with my legs kept going for days after this, because it actually felt like I kind of needed to coordinate learning how to walk again. It was like there was new muscle and new sensation input that I was experiencing. And I kind of looked like a baby deer walking around, a baby deer who's just born, or like a baby giraffe where they don't really know how to use their legs and they're all clumsy. And it was like jerky and awkward and clumsy, and I was kind of fumbling around a little bit. It took a few days for me to feel like I could again integrate that sensory input, but my family had such a laughing fit watching me walk around like a baby animal, like a full-grown woman, but with baby animal leg coordination skills. It was memorable.
I'd like to conclude here by quoting both Saj and Hillary. First, Saj, quote, "Relationship is the single most potent solution human beings have to the threats that we've encountered in our lives. When we add a competent, attuned, secure relationship to this alienated nightmare place, that's when we see the biology responding. That's when we see the movement and resolution take place." And now Hillary, quote, "It's okay to need people and to ask for help and to keep looking for those places inside of you where there's fear and aloneness and old stories that don't serve you anymore." Listening to this episode, I'm reminded of one of the most unexpected gifts of starting the podcast, these life-changing and affirming connections I've made. I knew Saj prior to the podcast, but our episodes together have both deepened our friendship and basically been, for me, like getting a graduate degree in trauma treatment. And my friendship and collaboration with Hillary would never have come to pass without Back from the Abyss. I'm truly